Alright, so just unlock the terminals. Let's go see what's inside them. So, yeah. Tier 1 terminal. Vault-Tech auto alert. Automated launch signal from Vault-Tech. Nuclear launch detected. Initiate directive order 001. Overseer Clarence Dunvick. Oh god, it actually happened. And we all thought it was a drill, but we went anyway. And now here we are. I ordered the vault door to stay open 5 minutes longer than was defined in my directives. I still had MPs trapped outside. I saved them all, and a few more than was called for. Now these two angry-looking Vault-Tech reps are starting to edge in closer. I have a feeling that they already have a plan to how to dispose of my body, and I'm pretty much powerless to do anything about it. Well, this isn't how I saw my evening going. Overseer Dunvick. Guard Chief Clint Dickinson, 10/25/2077. This is Guard Chief Dickinson, reporting from MP personnel taking control of Vault 18. After 48 hours of unrest and civil dispute, Vault-Tech personnel and the Overseer's office were arrested and sent to holding in jail. Overseer Dunvick was found dead in his office in the hours following the door being sealed by these agents, who had forced a cyanide capsule down his throat. For the rest of the Vault-Tech agents, I hereby ordered them to be kept in house arrest until further notice. I caught one of them attempting to initiate the Vault self-destruct sequence when we broke through the door, and I personally shot him through the eye. We'll sort out the details later. Overseer Clint Dickinson, 11/25/2077. It has become apparent to me that several of the MP guards that the Vault-Tech program was never meant to save anyone. Outlined in the directives are viral experiments on unwilling test subjects, sexual exploitation of minors, small wild animals, and what can be only described as psychological torture of innocent civilians. Through the efforts of several computer experts and military servicemen, we have gained control of the master computer and set it to defaults. Hundreds of live video feeds from the other vaults were discovered, as well as active connections to the Vault server network. I sent former Army engineers to cut the cables to the Federated Vaults not marked as control. Leaving them open would be a toxic influence and lead to a disaster one day. The vaults were never meant to save anyway. Stored in Overseer Dunvick's desk were directives from Vault-Tech. All residents of Vault 18 were to be subjected to around-the-clock live video feeds from across the country. All of the other vaults. All of those people. Vault 18 was an experiment. I can hardly wrap my mind around it. The world is over and we were the lab rats. How could they do this? They shut off the computers before anyone could see it. The horrors that these people were being subjected to. This information does not leave this terminal. It is only recorded for future overseers only. We hold elections next Friday night. No one needs to know what happened here. To my surprise, the Vault residents elected me Overseer, even knowing that I may have well put Dunvick in his grave. When we overthrew the Vault-Tech system, it was through the might of our own MPs and ex-Army personnel. We were praised as heroes and worshipped in the population we were clearly outnumbered by. As we all swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, we immediately reinstated a democratic electoral college. As military men, we are already very proud of our service, and the American people are basically programmed to praise us at face value. Unfortunately, what they don't understand is that most of us are very simple men of service age and completely unfit to hold any form of office. But because we were overpraised and treated with special permissions, we started believing that we had special rights and privileges not afforded to us in civilian standing. It's good to treat your military men with respect and gratitude. It's entirely another to make them feel like they're their sole perpetrators of the gratitude and respect. We get complacent and arrogant, and self-entitled military is quite possibly the most destructive force of democracy on this earth. Thus, the nuclear hell our world turned into, and my situation here, trying to keep my MPs from taking advantage of the population. Overseer Dickinson. I went into this thinking my job as Overseer was to keep the wire in the pipes, keep it clean, and make sure the lights stay on. Turns out that largely happens by itself, as long as the engineers have what they need. The last part is key, because the engineers have opinions, but they're smart enough not to open their mouths until they have proof positive that they are right. The only downside to that is that when they do open their mouths, it's in an arrogant and often socially challenged way that pits everyone against them. Don't make my mistake. Engineers make very poor lawyers. Whoever inherits this office after me, just make sure you don't let anyone control this self-destruct button who is in an easy pinch. If they get these codes, we're done for. Terminal 2. Vault 10 log, Mr. Tubbs. Have you guys been out our way in the past few weeks? Crazy shit has been going all over the place. The NCR have been at war with these freaks in power armor. We haven't been able to synth any new Nuka-Cola, so we're running on reserves. If you guys find any, we're getting real thin up in this bitch. Let us know what you find. And thanks for keeping us in the loop. I know we're not a control and all, but it's nice to chat with you guys sometimes, you know? Takes the edge off, Mr. Tubbs. Hey guys, traded a package of units for this weird reverse pulse cleaner. None of us have any idea what to do with it now that we've got it, so we're putting it in the locker till we figure it out. If you guys have any info, we'd appreciate it. Wow! Had no idea this old thing even worked. Been shut down for decades. Hello from Appalachia, or what's left of it. Man, it's great to know there's other survivors, a group of survivors on the West Coast. Looking forward to hearing back from y'all. The NCR has petitioned us to join them. Even after we rejected their last offer, they seem to be turning hostile. Please be advised that we are entering a combat situation in the near future, with the gangs of New Reno increasing pressure and the NCR pushing our way. We may not be able to maintain peaceful relations much longer. Vault City may fall, but wish that your following data stream be stored in your archives. The Enclave, the NCR, the Brotherhood, no one must have it, not even you. We have encrypted the transmission. Prepare 5 megabytes of space in your most secure system. If you are unconvinced of its importance, know this. It is related to one of your own citizens. No one can be trusted. One day in many years it will be revealed, but today let it be known, let the knowledge rest only in its memory. Project Brazil is not safe. They have come for our hero and to spell our doom. Brad Roach, 2242. Terminal 3. Project Control, Vault 10. Thank you for display text. Thank you for choosing refreshing Nuka-Cola brand cola. Together with our friends at Vault Tech, we've joined forces to maintain our humanity through the cool and exciting flavors of brand Nuka Blend Coca-Colas. Nuka-Colas. Fuck. We'll ride out the nuclear devastation and happiness. Enjoy your stay. Vault 3. Is anyone there? We have a water leak in the lower levels and the water chip is failing. We need to open the vault to scavenge parts. In the Vegas area, there's some human port 16 Vault 3 error. Server terminated. Vault 8 in Western Nevada here. We have opened the vault to survive. We have medicine and doctors, but not much else. The vault is becoming unlivable as the systems break down. Vault City is doing well on the outside and growing. We've encountered several tribes and other vault dwellers living on the surface. Our GEC is being used to restore the land. We haven't heard of anyone, and I assume we are the most technologically advanced civilization in the West. If you can respond by text, please do. We'd love to hear you. Note from Rossman. Don't reply to this message. There ain't no civilization left out there called Vault City. What wasn't blown to hell by the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR war has been taken over by an NCR intelligence unit. They're looking for us. Vault 76. Terminated. Vault 81. Grr. Terminated. 82. Terminated. 88. No one will ever find us. The door to the vault was not completed, but we made it work. We have lots and lots of resources. Anyone, if you read this, we need help. 1993. Terminated. 19. Yellow dust everywhere. Toxic sulfur leaking in. With the water steeps making sulfuric acid, eating holes in this vault. If you read this, we are leaving this hellhole. Terminated. 119. Terminated. 16. Terminated. 43. Help! There's a panther in here! Terminated. Vault 43. Oh. Vault 65. Terminated. 52. Terminated. 118. Terminated. 120. Terminated. 77. They left me alone with a bunch of puppets. Port 16, Vault 77 error. Terminated. 120, terminated. 77, oh, that's what I just read. 122, terminated. 44. Type, Timix port, help, just control. Help. Alright, let's go to tier 4. Overseer Christensen. My father's always told me that adversity reveals character. Coach Bragg said something to me that along those lines before our last week's tryouts for a new vault ball team. The man is a miracle. Gruff, impossible to get a read on, and I can never tell if he's angry or just determined, but he's saying that he's saving our children from themselves. When we adopted these children, they were mostly infants and toddlers. They had no sense of parental direction, and we were all in our late 50s, so set in our ways. We had no frame of reference on how to discipline or encourage children. As teenagers, one only has to examine the walls of the upper apartments to see the rebellion in their hearts, a rebellion we have been unfit to quell, which is quite embarrassing because you should be good grandparents, but, you know, that's just me. I am cautiously optimistic about this vault's future, but the startling reality is, if our enemies find themselves more organized in the coming months, we are ill-equipped to handle them. We are not a young vault any longer. The median age and life expectancy is 102.9 years. I myself am 75. During the Exodus 60 years ago, most of those left were youthful, 18 to 45. They're all gone now. Our teenagers here are all that's left that stand between us and the outside world. I gave Coach Bragg these troubled souls to train them, to educate them, give them an outlet we could not. Sports, team building, exercise, and discipline. He moves them with an almost military precision. It's incredible. In just a few short years, he has changed them so much. I am truly grateful to him. Let me highlight the military precision. Who does that sound like? Yeah. I have a list from Coach Bragg on my desk. He calls it the master list. It has the names of all 300 citizens in it, organized in 3-lettered brackets. He and Chevy agreed that this is the order our citizens should follow for duty in case of an attack by outside forces. On the top of the A list are his vault ball team, the Patriots. The B list has mostly young women on it and a handful of boys with the opposing barbarians. Team C just has a few. The Hale children, Dr. Rossman, Ben Kurtz is noted with a star, along with Sean, Moody, Mandy, and Jason. There's a D list. I am listed on the top, followed by everyone over 50. Nearly 250 souls. A startling reminder just how aged we are, just how frail our existence is. I have signed off on the letter. Hopefully, should the Survivalist Raiders, the Brotherhood, or the NCR Prospectors ever find our vault, Coach Bragg can defend us against them. All loath to see the tribal children we raised follow this man to war, but it is the only way. He knows them better than I ever will. Placing all of your trust in one person to raise your children? I see a bit of a problem there. But that's just me. Chief Everson sent Dr. Rossman, Yeti Hale, and Dr. Bishop and Sergeant Norman out into the wasteland last week as noted in my logs. It was sobering, seeing them in the vault gear room, gang dressed in archaic rags, armed to the teeth. It's like watching old heroes ride off into the sunset in a cloud of swirling dust. The Wasteland Scouts. Living legends. They seem so tangible here at their home, but seeing them go off on another adventure is truly inspiring. They never have been the same since Dr. Kyoto died many years ago. We never did get a full explanation of what happened, just that she died of some virulent virus given to her by a prospector. It's hard to believe the NCR betrayed the Scouts. After all they did to fight the Raiders, to defeat the Brotherhood stealing the war, after fighting the Enclave, the gang bosses. There were even rumors that the Wasteland Scouts saved the world on numerous occasions. But this is the reality. Coach Bragg warns us that the Raiders or NCR may strike us at any moment. He believes they know where we are. That is what this secret mission is about, to finally determine how far the Raiders have spread and how close the NCR is to finding us. The reports have been locked behind a Tier 3 firewall. Rossman says that if the brightest students can crack it, they may be worthy of a Wasteland Scout candidate. But for the others, well, we've just hidden away this secret mission. No one knows where they've gone. No one, so far, has noticed. The work on the terrarium is complete. Most of my administrative and executive controls have been shipped there. I had my men move the old spare master computer bondage to storage in the garden cave, and we've begun planting succulents. It's a lovely place for meditation. After this place is finished, we'll never again have to rely on the stale crumbs of our hydroponics lab. I love it here, and so does Jason. He has been helping us build the garden, rock by rock. I'm so proud of my son, no matter how rebellious he may be. He hasn't been sleeping at home with his mother and I. I fear his tribal origins may be weighing on his mind again. He chooses his brother and sister over us, along with the older star child. We installed the last of the vault controls today, and the hard locking mechanism for the self-destruct was slipped into place and activated. I felt a pang of fear. Not the realization that it existed, but I realized I wasn't afraid of it. That I'd rather destroy this vault and let it fall into our enemies, and that is a feeling I'm not sure how to accept. That's not a good sign. Alright, let's get to the Tier 2 terminals. Or the Tier 5 terminals. Wow, there's a lot of Tier 2 terminals. I forgot how many there are. I'm going to get tongue-tied a lot, and I'm going to get tired reading all this. But this is the Milktoast playthrough. The one where I say all of the lore, so here we go. Kira's terminal. Keep out, unless you're helping. Report on Wasteland Factions by Kira. I've taken notes of all these... Find on these old Tier 1 terminals about where my real parents may be. The scouting reports don't really have any clue what happened, and they're as dense as college textbooks. From what I've learned, here's the candidates. Slow, angry, and big. Some say they eat humans. Well, they're not all slow, angry, and big. They're definitely big, but a lot of them are pretty damn intelligent. I wouldn't say they're slow or dumb, but they definitely can get angry, and they do eat humans. Raiders. Used to be all kinds of them. Khans, jackals, vipers. But they were all beaten up by the NCR and ran away. Well, they reorganized. The Enclave. The really bad guys. They were beaten up by the NCR. I don't know if they still exist. Oh, my sweet summer child. The Brotherhood of Steel. Maybe. They're technophiles that live in bunkers. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The Caravans. These guys that roam around selling stuff. They're okay. The Gangs of New Reno. Oh boy, it's good to know those guys don't leave California. They take slaves of all kinds and all kinds of bad stuff. Probably a lot of sex slavery, because that's what happens here. The Slavers Guild. Oh, a lot of drugs, sex, rock and roll, all the stuff that's illegal, really. The Slavers Guild. The NCR broke them up, but they retreated to Athens Tech with the others. The Chi. They're all bankers and tech geniuses from San Fran. I'll keep looking. Until they make me go home. I never want to go back there. War in the Valley? Found a bunch of notes in the Tier 1 terminals talking about a fight in Cajun Pass. Sound familiar? Ben? It seems like the Wasteland Scouts have been fighting these survivalists since the beginning, which is going to be contradicted very soon. But after the NCR began expanding, they fought back. Now the survivalists take anybody willing to resist the NCR and hold the line from their base in Athens. It's not too far from here, and that's why we never go outside. They said that the survivalists take slaves. Maybe they took my parents? Dead end. Rossman won't help me. Says I should learn to hack these old systems on my own. I'm 10 and I barely know how to type. My fake mom and dad won't let me stay here. He hits me when he drinks. I have to find a way out of here. I want my real parents back. If your parents were raiders, I hate to tell you, they're going to treat you the same way. Restarting the search. Haven't looked at these notes since I was 10 when they banned me from here. I'm 19 now and I won't take I don't know for an answer. I want out of this vault more than anything. I have to get out of here before they turn me into another one of their Cinderella bimbo baby makers. This stupid bitch Jen Hale caught me in the cistern repairing the exterior connections. I don't know how she did it. Fucking drama queen. Because of her, I had to tell the overseer what my dad does to me in front of everyone. I swear I'll kill her one day when I get the chance, I swear. I think she was trying to help you, kid. Not everyone's trying to hurt you. I know it's a hard lesson to learn, but something I've had to learn too. Not everyone wants to stab you in the back. It's hard to figure out the difference, sure. And it hurts when someone you think had your back stabs you there. But not everyone's there to kill you. Not everyone's there to hurt you. And that's just something you've got to accept. Anyway, but for now I've learned everything. I've read every programming book, and I've read every magazine, every report I could unlock. I know the survivalists have my parents. I just need the last bit of proof. Then I just need someone to unlock the main vault door. I'll go for it the first chance I get. Not sure that's the best idea. But that's it. Here are the Tier 2 terminals. Oh boy, that's a lot of reading. This is going to be fun. Sergeant Danvers. Everything we've been through in the last 4 months, Overseer Clint Dickinson has ordered an immediate evacuation of the cave exit beyond the vault door. Vault Tech standard orders have been to keep the door shut for a minimum of 80 years, and a series of hard locks and chemical timers have been set in place to provide override of those controls. No matter what Dickinson orders us to do, there's no way any of us are getting through that door. I always tried to be a good man. I served 15 years at the LAPD before I agreed to join Vault Tech's MP program in the San Bernardino Valley. I fought in the Gobi before that. I know this isn't a place for personal reflection, but from what I've watched in the past few months has made me question who I am as a human being, and the law, and a law officer. We overthrew Clarence Dunvick, thinking he was the man who tried to have us killed, only to find out that he was really the man who had saved us. Not until it was too late, and he was killed by a forced cyanide pill. By whom we'll never know. When Dickinson left us as guard chief and became the new overseer, he may be the head of scout missions to the outside. But even after a total reversal of Vault Tech orders, that door is locked. And the only scouting I have to do is of my own soul. It's been a little over 20 years since I updated this archive. Still hasn't been any need. Door's still frozen shut. Place like it's been through a half dozen overseers. Like it's been through a half dozen overseers and years of arguing. No matter what, I know I will die waiting for the day I can see the outside again through anything but those tiny security cameras up in the darkness of the cavern. Sergeant Danvers, signing off. Oh shit, wait. What's my lockpick? Do I have... Okay, I'm gonna do one thing that's gonna be a little bit of cheating, but it's a good keepsake for me. I'm gonna steal Dr. Kyoto's glasses. People who watched the last few episodes, my horrible videos before, might know who Dr. Kyoto is, but I know where her glasses are, and I'm gonna yank them just because it's a good keepsake. That, and I'm not gonna forget to take the guitar pendant. Sergeant Danvers III. Wow! This is the best Christmas of all time! After 80 years, the doors are finally opening. A bunch of us have finally gotten together and started planning our intended destinations. My granddad used to tell me stories about the world outside, and now it's finally here! I can't wait to go visit Big Bear Lake and Pine Haven. Apparently, they were really nice places. Green trees, big pools of water, tons of tasty fish. Granddad always wondered what would be left, and Dad told me that people are bound to be rebuilding everything by now. Before Granddad died, I told him I'd look up at the stars for him, the first step I take out of the cave. I'm gonna do that just tonight. And it doesn't end too well. This is Acting Sergeant Elias, reporting back from Scouting Mission 0. Most of our party was lost during Day 3. As we scouted the ruins of Big Bear Bridge, we encountered a band of heavily armed men who surrounded us and disarmed us with flash grenades. At some point between being rendered unconscious and awakening, Officer Jackson and Sergeant Danvers commenced fire on the hostile assailants but were quickly dispatched. Officer Travers and I managed to escape the tree line, but Travers was gunned down as we crossed the river. I was grazed in the left shoulder and left for dead. They stripped me down to my uniform and weapons and left me on shore. A woman from a colony of slaves awoke me some hours later and escorted me to the vault door. We brought her into custody, and I enjoyed an extended stay in our infirmary. Well, I guess he should have been looking down. Definitely saw stars, at least. Sergeant Elias. The roads leading from Vault 18 and Pine Avenue are mostly intact and clear of major debris. There's a crater leading from the old military base, presumably from an atomic weapon. Pine Haven itself is utterly destroyed, save for a few central buildings. There are signs of animal life, but none we could see or recognize. There was no green foliage. There are cars on either side of the road for hundreds of miles. Many of them seem to have been moved and stripped of usable parts. There's no sign of the restored United States. It appears the entire continent was completely destroyed. by a war 80 years ago, and has been remained in a state of decay ever since. Woman we save, Orica, is a slave from a city several miles away called Unit City. She speaks Southern English and has good manners, and has provided descriptions of a survivalist ruling party which has conquered them several decades ago. Something about the mining operations at Athens Tech having been used as a staging area for an army of isolationists. This military operation is likely well aware of us by now. Our future missions along Highway 173 are ill-advised. She has warned us of another danger, a mutant horde along Highway 18. She is too ashamed to speak of them. We are planning several new scouting missions and an entire training regimen for new recruits. That's good. Super mutants are bad news. Not all of them are bad people, but it's good to prepare. Sometimes they're not friendly. Dr. Rogers. This is the 100th successful scouting mission launched from Vault 18, a proud moment. A morning team, myself, Kara and my wife, my granddaughter Sarah, and a picnic outside in the grass. It's growing nicely in the spring. I remember when it didn't grow at all. How lovely. Since there are 1,306 of us currently living in Vault 18, it has been greatly satisfying to report that I found several locations scattered around this crystalline valley and the Los Angeles Heights. Nope, Angeles Heights, fit for colonization. There's an NCR settlement not too far south, past the char of the San Bernardino Valley, leading towards the Sequoia Zone. That will serve as prime colony targets. I've spoken with the NCR representatives and about the best possible locations. They assure me that staying clear of our immediate area is essential. And then again, none of them have ever traveled to I-15 like I have, nor care to. And from what I'm told, Tandy has no interest of this area. Not yet. Tandy was the last good president, and she probably genuinely didn't have any interest until, well, politicians got greedy. To be sure, we have begun teaching our children a game, but they forget Vault 18's location and name. If they remember, they lose. It's become a sport among them. If we're ever tempted to reveal where the vault is, it will be an easy resistance because we simply will not know. There have been several tectonic shifts that I believe are precursors to a much larger event. We're sitting a few miles east of the San Andreas Fault. Well, fuck. It runs right through the valley of Athens Tech. While we are assured that Vault 18 will survive the biggest quake imaginable, I loathe to believe 140-year-old predictions. Cement shell of this has been curing for that amount of time, and good engineering will require a reassessment of the densities across the whole shell and the shock threshold of the supports. At the very least, we're looking at a situation where we'll be digging our way out of the cavern. I'm suggesting a colony attempt hasten and we leave sooner. They started to call us exodites in the vault. Maybe we are exiles, but in my heart I know, and hundreds like me, that we belong out there in the world among the tribes. Hey, it's about our parents. There's 6, so Terminal 4. Sergeant Norner. Scouting Report 202. There have been rumors of Brotherhood of Steel scouts passing through near Vault 18. It is said they have established a camp near bars searching for pre-war locations in the mountains near us. We've encountered the BOS several times on various adventures, yet he has several scars to tell the tale. But in case we have a new student reading these logs, let me tell you a bit about them. The BOS formed in what was left of the United States Army over a year ago. They were once a huge organization, but now they're essentially a loose band of raiders. Yeah, that's what they became. Their motto, as of late, is, "We are the only salvation this tortured planet and its people have. Without us, humanity is sure to perish." That should give you a good idea what they are like. Relatively little is known about the early years of the Brotherhood of Steel, but they've acquired a ton of power armor, and they are still army men. They have taken to treating themselves like ancient knights of the Round Table. Odds are, you've never read up on that. About that in the Vault Library. Go look it up and it'll make sense then. They even have their own King Arthur, by the name of Maxon. Yeah, that Maxon. Don't know if he was the dumbass who led the Brotherhood to its grave, Jeremy, in a past life, but my money's on Boss Maxon being some black sheep second cousin of the... They could quietly punt off the Council of Elders. The Brotherhood's too stuck up the mud of tradition. Odds are the old man Jeremy could piss on the Brotherhood of Steel cog and they'd still follow him off a cliff. They tend to be shy. Oh shit, I just realized the raider. Oh, the raider leader's Maxim. That's fucked. They tend to be shy. They scour the waste for technology, building up some kind of storehouse meant to enrich humanity. Or so they say. Really, it enriches them. They'll strip you down. They'll take anything you have and strip you down and leave you for dead if they see something they like. Especially if you're lesser people. Got a bad habit. This bad habit got them into war with the NCR. With the superior technology, the Brotherhood managed to give the NCR a good fight. But even coming close to winning the war, the Brotherhood's technological advantage was nothing compared to the sheer volume of the NCR military. The Brotherhood was isolated, undermanned. They froze themselves to death. The NCR kicked their ass and took everything they could get their hands on. We were part of that war in several places, basically starting it. The Wasteland Scouts derailed several Brotherhood attempts to ransack Vault 18. They kept chasing their tails, and they eventually used their technology against them to turn against the NCR. When they weren't paying attention, we had our friends at the NCR get a gander of their storehouse. After that, the NCR politicians were salivating. War ensued. Check up on this in the update logs. 10/2/2048. Unfortunately, the rumors have been proven to be false. There's nothing in the air that would indicate the Brotherhood of Steel presence apart from an outcast located in Union City. Specifically, in Old Doc Marius. Crazy sci-fi bastard trying to impress Dr. Kyoto with his shiny suit of power armor. Ha! Crazy lovebirds. I reprimanded her for fraternizing with locals and not informing us. That was a lot of good gossip we missed out on. Oops. Well, in a routine patrol, we crossed an old Vault 18 exile settlement from the region about 30 clicks from Union City. This place was a mess, demolished and abandoned, showing marks of a fight that must have took place some hours ago. Inhabitants were caught by surprise, probably by a force much more superior in numbers, much of a sign of a firefight. No corpses were found. It seemed the aggressors attacked the settlement in a hurry, destroying what they couldn't, and take everyone dead or alive. Careful inspections allowed us to discover a hidden nook behind one of the houses. The survivors were all inside. Just infants and toddlers, all in the age between 2 and 4 approximately. They were wearing exodite marks. 4 of them had little blue pentagrams painted on their bodies in various places, seeming to indicate a family name. They were terrified. 2 kids named Jamie and Eric, the oldest of the bunch, told us the demons took their parents and left them behind. They're too scared to even talk about it. They said that the demon woman hid the 4 with the tattoos in the nook. As soon as they got them out of that hole, it was like they had forgotten it ever happened. They've been quiet on the subject ever since. Unfortunately, no further tracks were found, and we were unable to determine what happened to the inhabitants. The settlement was small, so I bet someone sold this info on a passing slave caravan. The goddamn survivalists probably were involved in the process. They've been taking slave ever since that El's Dragon son of a bitch took over his, well, after Rossman killed his leader, Boss Maxim. With the NCR pushing into the region, getting ready to liquidate the Enclave holdouts north of here, we have to be especially cautious. The NCR is winning the war with the Brotherhood, but just barely. They're on hard economic times. They're destroying tribes, wiping out whole civilization, tearing down towns, going back for generations. It's like they're trying to turn the entire California wasteland into a farm for taxes and soldiers. That's exactly what they're trying to do. After we blew up the ethanol reserves at Athens Tech, we've been on a campaign to absorb every last Raider tribe in the Washington to Texas. They were a ragtag organization just 80 years ago. Now they're turning into a war machine. The NCR keeps pushing Raiders around like dirt on a wet floor, and the dirt is starting to run off in the gutter of Athens Tech mine. Rossman petitioned the Overseer Council, which ordered an emergency session to admit the orphan children as vault residents. These kids are our ancestors' blood. They're us. They may be dirty, starved, and terrified, but they're us. We're immediately rushing back out to scout the other 6 villages. If the Raiders need to take revenge on our tribes, we just need to know. But I got a feeling this isn't a revenge thing, or a desperate grab for manpower. I think someone, or something, is targeting our tribes to bait us. We found the remaining Exodite tribes, numbers 6 to 7. They've been destroyed along with the others. This time we were too late. The children were dead, likely from starvation. Scouts blame themselves. Truth is, I blame myself, but this isn't the place for self-reflection. It's my duty to report my failure. As lead scientist, I'm responsible for making technical suggestions, but as a Wasteland Scout, it's my job to keep these people safe. We're more than just defenders of Vault 18, we're protectors of humanity. We promised them when they left Vault 18 decades ago we'd never abandon them in the waste, that our mission was to protect everybody, Not just from our little vault, but everybody from here. I'm the leader of that operation. I hesitate to fight an unknown enemy, and a dozen kids are dead. 6 to 7 were nomads. They didn't have a permanent settlement. Whatever came to them knew who they were. The Enclave is too bogged down in the NCR war to go back their old scheme, so it can't be used in them. Brotherhood don't care less about us, and the NCR wouldn't do something like this. Not on purpose. We rescued all the kids we could. Whoever is targeting us has won. It's time we draw a line where we can protect the vault and bunker down. Union City has been invaded and successfully taken by the NCR, but looks like we've lost the war. Our last reports have documented an agreement Dr. Rossman reached with the slaves in Union City and the NCR Colonel Bill Silverman. The NCR is well aware of the Wasteland Scouts and our exploits. They've watched every episode, it seems. Big fans, or so they thought. The NCR sent prospectors over to Vault 18. They killed Kyoto and had us covering our butts. With those mercenaries chasing us back to Vault 18, we had no choice but to kill them. The NCR learned of it and branded us enemies of the state, and Rosman is specifically called for treason. Declared Vault 18 and Athens Tech equally annexed NCR property. Stormed in and took over the ethanol fields in Union City in a 3-week battle that left the entire region a glowing mess. Survivalists under Elsdragon had made a big impression of the NCR brass. The NCR thought they'd be a pushover. They'd be wrong. Elsdragon gave ground just to suck them in and burn his own fields under their feet. The fields are filled with explosives, mutant corn. Probably killed 400 NCR soldiers in 30 seconds. Death by popcorn. Nasty. As we've documented, the great Khans, Vipers, Jackals, and all the miscellaneous raided tribes with names or no names have flocked from across the wasteland to join the survivalists. The NCR has pushed them to utter desperation, enough to overcome the decades of internal fighting and band together. We thought this battle was in the bag. The raiders were finished, but we were wrong. The survivalist message of freedom and isolation, of tax-free utopia and anarchy has ironically created a grassroots movement of epic proportion. The NCR Angels swept California clean of the devils, and they sought to destroy, and all the demons came back to hell. Athens Tech mine. Now they're right here on our front door. The NCR is bogged down fighting the Brotherhood now. That war may or may not go in their favor, but until that's resolved and they lick their wounds, the NCR has given up on Athens Tech. The raiders are growing in numbers, hunkering down, and they're sweeping the valley for us, looking for revenge. Chief Emmondson has called it in. We're locking down Vault 18 till further notice. We'll close the doors, start racing these kids that we saved from the wasteland, and that'll be it. Our adventuring days are over. I wish it was on a better note. Here's some pictures.